Welcome to another episode of the Headlight Restoration Pro, where I'll be showing you how to take headlights like this into something more like this. Let's get down to business. Starting out here with a P500 sanding disc. Many methods start different. If you get 1,000 headlight restoration kits, they mostly have certain things in common. I do not work off of a kit. I use my own formula here. I do use 3M products as I feel they are superior. There's 1,000 ways to do this, but there's only one or two, or let's say a handful, that are correct. Any method dealing with sanding is probably your best bet. You want to remove all of the damage. This particular vehicle is a older model Nissan. It's about 20 years old and it has never been restored. So I'm more than likely I'm going to have to use more than one pad here, or more than one P500 at least, or maybe even a couple more of other ones, being that this is a large light. It is very old, has never been restored, and has a lot of built up sun damage. Once again, always using two hands to control the drill. You want to keep a flat, even pressure, no jerking motions, no sliding motions, no scraping. What can happen with these drills, being that they are high powered, or any modern drill are high powered, they can pull out of your hand, or they can make you pretty much shoot right across the headlight, off the headlight into the paint, and that's what you do not want. That's the main reason why you want to hold it with two hands, for safety and not damaging the paint around the light. Check out those ripples there that you can see. That's one of the ways you can tell that you're doing a nice smooth sanding job. No jerks, no gaps, no weird looking stuff there. It's pretty uniform. That's because I am using an even pressure all the way across the light. I am overlapping and hitting every inch of this light a couple times over, which is good measure to make sure that you remove all of the damage. You don't want to have to keep clearing this headlight off and discover that you have spots that you missed. For this step here, I did have to use two sanding discs, two P500s, to accurately remove all of that oxidation, being that it was an older light. Now skipping ahead to the second step, using my P800 white sanding disc. Once again, this one is the more of a finesse pad, more of a cleanup crew pad. The first one, the orange P800, is more of a demolition crew. It is knocking off all of that unwanted yellowing, unwanted surface issues, scratching and divots and stuff like that. This one is cleaning up after that. It's making it back smoother and pretty and knocking off all of these scratch marks left from removing all of that stuff that the earlier disc did. This is the P800. Like I said, there's many different ways. I have some product reviews coming up. There's many different kits out there. I've tried just about all of them, and I developed my own technique and my own measure of things that work the best and give me very high ratings, and gives me a better outcome where 99.9% of my lights come out exceptional. I have been through all the trials and errors. I have been through all the mistakes, the have and should have and have nots. I've done it all. I've done over 1,000 headlights in a very short time and growing. Many different techniques or different kits or different ideologies do pretty much the same thing, just in a different way. Oh, we should use a 3000 sandpaper to start with. We should use a 1000, this and that. I find this method, it pretty much hits it right in the middle. It's not too much on any step, and it's not too little on any step, which leaves you a lot of room to play with. And in my opinion and experience, less room for mistakes. As you see here, this is my hand scrubber here. That first pad I showed you there is an actual buffer pad. It provides you a space between the actual hard surface of the drill or any kind of hand sanding device that you use. This little buffer pad here that I showed you with the holes in it there, they don't all come with holes in it, and some of them are different thicknesses or whatever, but they're very important. Why? Because the edge of that drill bit there is flat and hard, or the edge of the sanding is flat and hard with a Velcro attachment. You want a buffer pad there, or you can even sometimes I have to double them up because a light has so many angles. It pretty much allows for the pad to wrap around or to angle or hit the angles properly. Also provides for a nice even pressure, kind of like pretty much a sponge between the device and the sanding bits. It's actually a very important part of professional headlight restoration, or any kind of restoration. That step with the hand sanding there provided vertical lines. It took the swirls and made them into vertical lines, which are easier to mask and easier to delete or remove on this step. This next step here is done with regular water, tap water, or you can use any kind of water you feel like. It's not going to make a huge difference. It's also used with a P3000 Trizac pad. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. That's what I call it. It is a spongy like pad. It is the only one disc that is an actual pad. The other ones are just like paper with the sanding grits on it. This one is actually like a little sponge with really fine sanding grit on it. It's to even out those really fine scratches. It'll give it more of a smooth finish. It's kind of a cross between sanding and polishing. Like I said, the first step is to demolish everything. That's the gold disc. The white disc is to smooth everything over, kind of an immediate fix everything that was wrong. And this one is the fine tuning pad for the sanding. So the main ideology of any headlight restoration or true professional headlight restoration is to break it down, remove all of the unwanted surface, and slowly build it back up in stages. If you think about it that way, it might help you in your headlight restoration. This step is done with Windex. I use concentrated window cleaner. It's not Windex, but I mean any kind of Windex or glass cleaner would work. I would stay away from foams. I always use the liquids. Then go ahead and wipe clear with a clean microfiber towel. Here, this next step here, I want you to notice this area here as you see it going from clear to a haze. That is the dehydration. That's what you're looking for. That's why you use the glass cleaner. It is better. It dehydrates all of the light, all of the oils, all those things you do not want in the light for your final step. With this method here, using my dab method, it's a better delivery system than most of the kits will tell you. It's just pretty much dabbing and spreading it evenly and giving you a little count, a little time in between putting it on and starting to let it soak in a little bit, because ladies and gentlemen, the light is porous. It does soak in a little bit. And I'm also using my high powered 12 volt 3-inch polisher, which has two settings. I'm using the second setting, which goes from 0 to 7800. Those settings are ranked that way because you do not have to apply full pressure on the trigger. The more you press, the higher it goes. On this light I'm using about 7800 because it is a large broad light with no curves. You want to stay away from the curves at high speeds or any kind of divots or folds. Some lights are way more extreme to do, as you'll see in future tutorials, but this one is big, broad and flat, so I'm just gunning it. You want to always keep this moving at this point. You want to make sure that your pad and the light is lubricated. This stops from creating burns or any kind of damage from the friction and heat of this. 7800 RPMs is very fast. It is 7800 rotations per minute. That accounts for a lot of heat and friction, which therefore accounts for a lot of this clarity here. Some kits will have a baby version of the step in it for people who can't go out and buy a $150 polisher and all this stuff like that. You can do a pretty good job with just a regular standard drill, but with the polisher you're going to get much more results, much more clarity like this on this step. Some kits don't even have this stage. Some people don't do this stage, but I feel it is a must if you want that ultra clarity. For this final stage, always make sure that it is clean and free of debris in the outer areas around the headlight, even on the car or in the engine. Make sure that it is dust and debris free. One change the wind, somebody opening the door, anything like that can blow dust onto this finished product. This takes about 2 minutes to dry, so you really want to make sure that you don't have any risk of anything blowing onto this while you are doing it or while it is drying. This here is a fan, a high power fan I just used to help air dry the headlights. It also clears out the smell of this sealer. All the sealers are very strong in smell, and you should use a mask for safety. I have tried many methods of drying. This one is the best next to summer sunlight. I've tried heat lights, I've tried heat guns, all this stuff. It does not work as well, and there are side effects. Air drying is the best. Excuse the sunlight here, it's kind of messing up the exact clarity that I'm seeing here. The camera's picking up too much sun, but as you can see myself and the reflection there. It is crystal clear. That wraps up this episode of the Headlight Restoration Pro. Please feel free to ask any questions. I do respond. Please feel free to like and subscribe for future content.